accidentally caused a stir with some comments on Coach D. And I didn't actually directly comment on Coach D. It was someone posting Coach D, and she was basically saying that, AKA's got to do better about jumping on people who wear salmon pink and apple green as a combination. And I said something to the effect of, if you want to support Kamala, this ain't the way to do it. You don't need to don pink and green to support this AKA. And as a matter of fact, you shouldn't. These colors mean something to them. And it was so interesting to me that so many women, there's like 1,000 likes and 800 comments of just women going off. What are you going to do? Threatening me, trying to act like I'm not 6 feet, 200 pounds. Anyhow, it was interesting to me because if I told you don't go over there dressed like Hoover when you know that whole area is Pyru, you wouldn't be as bothered by it. You wouldn't be as upset. You would, if I told you, don't you wear that hat in Houston, not in this part of Houston. You need to go back to Lids and get you another hat that color with different whatever on it. It wouldn't be a big deal, but somehow that's okay, when we are respecting the subculture of gang culture within the greater context of African American culture. But then if we say the same thing of the Divine Nine and these Greeks, it's a problem. And I don't know if it's a problem because some of these people have not had the opportunity to matriculate as a college student and witness Greek culture, but a lot of people try to do it. They will try to stroll, they will try to interrupt a stroll, and sometimes it can get violent, and it's sad because it's like just show some etiquette. There is a story here on TikTok that I hope that as you scroll will come up in relation to what I'm saying. But there's a story about a little girl who, these line jackets are fly, okay? She wore her mother's line jacket to school, and a school teacher who was an AKA ripped the coat off of the child and said, "You don't know what we went through to earn this." And allegedly the little girl's mother didn't she didn't disagree with the teacher or have an issue with the teacher, because some people, when they're online earning those letters, earning that Alpha Kappa Alpha, that Delta Sigma Theta, that Omega Psi Phi, running up Q Hill, getting done up the whole way up, it's rough. It's rough. Some of these, if you really want to get into studying Greek culture, I would say pop in School Days by Spike Lee, and maybe I've never seen Stump the Yard, but I heard that was decent. But you can just go to a step show at a university or whatever, and you'll see why this is poor etiquette. So people are like, oh, I want to support Kamala, I'm going to wear pink and green. And it's like, why don't you wear Bindi? Why don't you put a little red dot in the middle of your head if you want to support Kamala? Because that's disrespectful, right? Kamala means lotus, like the lotus flower. How Tina Turner was chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, right? That Buddhist chant means the deeper and thicker the mud, the more beautiful the lotus flower grows. Her name literally means lotus. We could put lotus flowers on everything, and it wouldn't be disrespectful. It would actually be really appropriate. And it's pink, or some are pink, some are white, some are whatever, but you can find a pink lotus. Why do you want to violate these AKAs? When they tell you no, why don't you just accept no? There's a reason we no longer wear, as a country, when it comes to Halloween, people aren't wearing Indian costumes anymore, right? They're not wearing the feathers and the Pocahontas and the moccasins because it's rude. It's rude to put on someone's culture as a costume. It's disrespectful. It's poor etiquette. And we get it for so many other things, but for some reason we don't want to understand it when it comes to these very distinguished, very prestigious organizations. And it just sits as hypocrisy in my sight, especially when I'm in the comment section, a non-AKA. I am Greek adjacent in that my late partner, belonged to Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. So as an omega pearl. It's like, okay, well, what is this? What is that? And I would learn what I could. And then there are things and rituals that I'm never going to know. I'm going to live and die without ever knowing, because they take that stuff to the grave. Now is a rough time to be having these conversations out loud. And I saw all these angry people in my comments, and so many of them were, my sisters. And I'm just like, I just got done watching a white woman on TikTok tell other women, look, you can't scroll. You scroll. You can't scroll. You can scroll away from this video. You can't stroll. Don't join a stroll. You can't ski-wee. You can't ooh. You just don't say it. You'll see it. It's gonna look fun. You'll see it at the DNC. You'll see it on Inauguration Day if she wins. These are not for you. And they understand these are not for you. And it's just like, you don't know the meaning of a bendy. You don't know the meaning of a red dot. These are not for you. Why aren't we wearing, Kamala Harris was a 90s it girl. But you're not wearing bamboo door knocker earrings, at least 2 pair. If you as a black woman went to the DNC and you saw, because that viral picture of Kamala from the 90s with her hair cut short and those door knocker earrings that are very significant among African American women. If you saw a bunch of white and Asian women, they're just like, go Kamala, and they're just like, they needed to be in the last 90s Around the Way Girl LL Cool J video, you're gonna be uncomfortable. So we get it for everybody else. I don't know why we don't get it for D9, specifically for AKAs. And I think the AKAs have a unique problem because their colors are so, and hear me out, or don't hear me out, but hear me out, because there are so many white Greek organizations all up and down Greek Row at every predominantly white institution, PWI. And their colors are pink and green. Or their colors are blue and white, or their colors are colors that are shared among other D9 organizations. But even with sharing colors, they manage to stay in their own lane. I don't know why that is, I don't know why that's too much to ask here. And now is the most inopportune time to be having these. Well, maybe it's not. I was going to say this is the most inopportune time for us to be having this conversation, because it's sort of kind of happening on a world stage. So people are getting cussed out on a world stage, arguments, fighting, fallouts, and it's just like, hey, we don't want to push you out of voting, Coach D. Like, we still need you to vote for Kamala. It's just the etiquettes. It's just a little bit of etiquette. No one can tell you what to wear. Wear what you want to wear, but show up at the DNC in pink and green and you don't know the grip and you don't know, whatever it is. Like they can tell if you're an AKA or not. And it might be a problem. It might be a problem. You'd be surprised at how these people network. One of the single most solitary, most important thing that you gain from pledging is networking. You'd be surprised who knows who when it comes to pink and green, or when it comes to crimson and cream, or whatever it is. And you at the DNC chilling, and all of a sudden your little card that you used to check into everything doesn't work anymore. You'd be surprised. I know that sounds petty, but the point is, if we can do it for others, we should be able to do it for each other. If we know we can't wear that hat in Houston, if we know that we can't be in all this Hoover blue next to Pyru, it's not too much to ask. I am so sorry for, I don't know, I didn't mean to offend anybody, but I just thought to myself, when the AKAs are out there defending themselves, it's like they look bad doing it because they're doing it and they're emotional, and rightfully so. But I'm like, maybe as an outsider, I can kind of say, hey, that makes sense, and this is why you shouldn't do that. Entirely up to you. But I know I wouldn't just, I'm not going to put on a bendy. I'm not going to put on a yarmulke. I'm not going to I'm not gonna sit around and perp in anybody else's stuff, so why my own people? I guess is the takeaway message here. So that's all I got. Ain't got no more. And if you want to argue, I'm leaving my comments on so you can say whatever you want.